The strongest gust we've seen was 38 knots.
This last 18 hours has been a bit trickier because the wind's been quite a lot higher.
Good training for the Atlantic, I think. Welcome back. We're offshore on the North Atlantic Ocean in early February. It's our 4th night on the sea, and after a few days of unsettled weather, we're starting to get some steady winds.
It's a really bright moon tonight. It's very nearly full, not quite but almost. I think it'll be completely full tomorrow night. And I really like sailing with a full moon. It's nice being able to see the horizon and be able to just like see around the boat. It's amazing how much you can actually see by moonlight once your eyes adjust. It is sunset on day 4. We've probably got at least another 3 days depending on the wind. Today I just laid in bed and watched Star Wars for a bit and snoozed for a bit. Had some sleep to catch up on from last night. So this is daybreak on day 5. It's looking a bit more promising with the weather. Every day the weather's been getting a little bit better as we've been heading south. And today there's a fair bit of clear sky around. You can see Jupiter just before sunrise. Still not quite good enough for doing lots of celestial navigation though. There's still a lot of cloud cover around, especially at night. And the horizon is not very good, but hopefully soon. There's like this rattling of the mainsail cars, which I just can't seem to make quiet. I've tried tightening the halyard, loosening the halyard, tightening the main sheet, loosening the main sheet. Nothing seems to shut it up, but I'll try and figure that out a bit better. Maybe I'll grease them for the Atlantic or something to try and make them quiet. Anyway, that's where we're at today. Just had breakfast. Looking forward to another bright day, hopefully, in the North Atlantic. Looking forward to some of that tuna for lunch. That should be nice. Maybe with some potatoes. Just spotted that we've got a kamikaze squid on board, just on the side deck. It's a bit gross, but I'll show you.
Finally, the conditions are perfect and we're making decent speed.
What are we having first from the tuna?
A quick steak, just because it's still so fresh. We want to have it with its like original flavor, and then I'm gonna make like fajitas with small cuts, so nothing goes to waste. With a clear sky, Ryan can take a known sight. He uses the sextant to work out our latitude based on the sun's height above the horizon. As the sailing got more and more downwind, we rigged the spinnaker pole up for the Yankee. First, we furl the Yankee, then we hoist the pole up, and finally we unfurl the sail again. It's great to practice some wing-on-wing sailing for our upcoming Atlantic crossing. In just a couple of weeks, we'll be sailing 3,000 nautical miles from the Canary Islands to the Caribbean. We're very excited about this big blue water crossing, and we finally feel ready for it. The tuna we caught in the last episode is huge, so we eat it at every meal if the conditions allow us to cook.
So the wind has picked up. It's now 19, 20. Sometimes dropping down to 17, but generally around that level. I might put a second reef in the main just for the night and to make it easier on the wind vane. We don't want to go too fast or we'll just end up getting to the Canary Islands in the dark. So ideally we want to be doing like 4.5, 5 knots, and at the moment we're doing 5.5, 6. I'm just going to go put some warmer clothes on because with the wind coming straight into the cockpit, we don't get much protection from the spray hood, so it's pretty cold. I'm going to go do that and then put second reef in if it's staying up above 18, I think. I think this is the best sunset I've ever seen at sea out here.
Having a bit of a hectic night on Skua. We have had up to 30-35 knots of true wind. We are downwind and the wind is dead on our stern, and so we got the main down and the Yankee furled, and we are just going downwind on the staysail alone, and we're still doing over 5 knots and it's really rolly.
It's now daybreak on, I think, day 6, maybe day 5, maybe day 7, and it's a really beautiful morning, but the sea really picked up last night. Hydrovane's still steering well, it seems to like the stronger winds. The moon's about to set. It's a really full moon last night, which is really good because it's really nice to have a horizon when it's this lumpy. Anna's down below trying to sleep. She's really struggling. She's quite a light sleeper anyway, so when the boat's moving around a lot she really struggles to sleep. I think throughout today we'll just carry on doing 3 on 3 off like the night so that we can both try and catch up a little bit.
As you can see, the conditions are the same this morning. We have anywhere between 28 and 35 knots of true wind. So minimum apparent wind we get is 24. And it's going to be like this all the way until the Canaries and also while we're there. So yeah, it's just a case of put up with the rolling and getting there. I think the main problem is being able to sleep. We really struggled to fall asleep because you're constantly moving around the boat. But so far I think we're both fine in terms of seasickness. I took a pill last night after feeling pretty rough. and yeah, I think it's just getting enough sleep to make the right decisions and feel rested enough.
So I had a bit of a sleep. I was in a bit of a grumpy mood before because I haven't really slept very much. So I was a bit irritable. But now I have slept. I had the idea of putting the third reefed, or the triple reefed main up, which seems to have stabilised the boat quite a bit. Hopefully it'll be more stable from now on. Our course is pretty much dead downwind, so we're jibing around a bit. But that's alright. We need to go on this tack anyway to get away from like a shallow shoal. It's not like super shallow, but it's more shallow than I want to go in these conditions. So we're just trying to stay over the super deep water, which is nice because there's no one around out here. And yeah, it's a nice sunny day actually. One of the nicest days we've had other than the wind. Obviously with the wind it makes it feel pretty cold, but it's pretty sunny, and it'd be amazing if there wasn't as much wind. It'd be a really nice sailing day. But School's making good time. I think we probably will arrive in the dark at this point, but we'll wait and see. The good thing is that the moon is so bright that I don't think we'd have any problem going into the anchorage in the night. We could have the radar on as well to check there's no boats in there. And yeah, I think we're about 12 hours away, 14 hours away, something like that, which in the context of this passage isn't really that long really. Feels like we're getting near to the end. So it's been a bit of a mixed passage. There was a tricky start, and then the middle was mostly really incredible light wind, upwind sailing with the boat hardly moving around at all. And then this last, I suppose, what has it been? 18 hours has been a bit trickier because the wind's been quite a lot higher, and then we've been struggling to sleep when the boat's moving around so much. Hopefully this third reef main is the trick, and I know we'll be able to get some sleep. Have you found the stronger winds on this passage?
Kind of good. Like when it all started last night, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, oh god, like it's always worse when it hits you in the middle of the night. You don't have time to get used to it. You just think, oh my god, we're gonna have to go through like night watches with this and all of that. But by the time 6 AM came, I realised that obviously School can take these winds really well, and the hydrovane steers us really well. And apart from like the problem of getting enough sleep, like the crew can handle it. We've had 30 knots for the past 24 hours more or less, and yeah, I'm kind of glad we've seen that we can handle them and it's not crazy difficult or uncomfortable. Like, of course our legs are hurting a bit from holding on, and I basically hurt myself a little bit being smashed around in the boat, but you get used to it quite quickly, and yeah, as long as we can get a couple of hours sleep a day, both of us, I think it's fine. So it was good training for the Atlantic, I think.
It's really hard to capture the size of waves on camera. It may not look like much, but these are 4 to 5 meter waves in 30 to 35 knots of wind, a force 7 or moderate gale on the Beaufort scale. It's been a pretty lively night. I think the strongest gust we've seen was 38 knots, and we've had consistently 35 for quite a few hours. And now we are just driving around the islets on the northern side of Lanzarote, and we're hoping to make landfall in La Graciosa, which is an island just north of Lanzarote. And yeah, the wind is calming down a little bit. It's 20 to 25, 28 knots. Hopefully the island will then shelter us a little bit after the wind accelerates, of course. And I can finally see the lights of Lanzarote in the distance, so we must be pretty close.
We're arriving into La Graciosa area now. We're just sailing past some islands, but we are a bit early, still obviously really dark, so we've reduced all of the sail except for the triple reefed main, and we're just kind of sat here doing 3 knots, 3.7 knots. We can't really reduce the speed much more than this, but it's getting pretty comfy because we're getting in the lee of some islands. So we're just going to slowly go down there. There should be a couple more boats in there that we know. And yeah, finally drop the anchor.
We arrive in La Graciosa in the dark, just an hour before sunrise, dig in the anchor and go straight to sleep. Like this video, subscribe and click on the bell button to get notified of new video releases. These free videos are made possible by our amazing patrons. You can support our production on Patreon or through a casual PayPal donation.